Hey guys, and welcome to my top 10 anticipated Kickstarters of 2020. This will focus only on the Kickstarters that will be launching in 2020, and obviously it's just the ones I already know about, but that's really most of the big ones. I can't say for sure though, because we didn't know about Oathsworn all the way back this time in 2018 for 2019, and that would have obviously been on my list. So, for what we know right now, this is going to be my top 10. Let's get started. Alright, now real quick before we get started, I'm posting this right after Christmas, so I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and holiday season. I hope you're looking forward to 2020 as much as I am. 2019 was a fantastic year for miniature board game Kickstarters, and I'm super excited for what 2020 is going to bring. Stuff just keeps looking like it gets better and better, more well-produced, more well-made, and a better deal for us consumers over and over and over again. So I'm really excited about a lot of Kickstarters, but again, just my top 10 here. As always, if you enjoy the content on the channel, be sure to subscribe, and as always, leaving a like or sharing this around helps a lot and it's free. Alright, let's get to it. And actually, I'm going to start with an honorable mention. So, this didn't quite make the top 10, but it's close and I'll explain why. In fact, I'll explain all of my reasons. So, honorable mention, Hell, The Last Saga by Mythic Games. Now, why isn't this in the top 10? And simply because I don't know enough about it. Mythic Games did a tease where they showed some of the miniatures and some of the artwork and kind of gave kind of a quick synopsis about the theme and kind of maybe a little bit of the story, if it's even story-based. We don't know. We don't know so much about this that it's just not enough for me to get hyped about it. I like the idea, I like the name, I like the style of the miniatures and the style of the theme that's going here. But that's it, and I can't get just excited on a idea or a concept. So that's why it didn't make my top 10, but I highly suspect once we learn more about the game that it will. Mythic Games makes some fantastic games. I've very much enjoyed a lot of their games, and they make some well-produced games too. So I'm really looking forward to it for sure, which is why it still gets an honorable mention, but until we know more, it's just too early. Okay, starting the proper top 10 list. Number 10, ISS Vanguard by Awakened Realms. This is going to be huge for me, just because, so I was really excited about both this and Unsettled. I really wanted kind of a sleek, clean, sci-fi, kind of more sandboxy, perhaps, kind of game, and I'm hoping ISS Vanguard can do that. Unsettled didn't have enough gameplay information for me to catch my interest right away, and I haven't looked at it since. There's ISS Vanguard coming anyway, so there's not really a purpose for me to go backwards in time when I can just keep looking towards the future. So hopefully ISS Vanguard can do that for me. I view it kind of like the Mass Effect style, if you know what that is from the video games. Just this very sleek, futuristic, more brightly colored, more interesting kind of sci-fi, not super gritty or, dark or horror or anything like that. Really looking forward to that. The art looks good. Again, though, I don't know a ton about it, but, on their Facebook page and on their group, they've been sharing a whole lot of different pictures and stuff like that, and, getting a sense of what the kind of actions you'll be doing based off of those pictures has me excited. So, looking forward to that. Obviously, we'll learn more soon enough. Number 9, Dragon Ball Z, the Miniatures Game by Conan and IDW. Alright, now, again, these early ones like this, again, I need more info. But what I can say is I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I love Dragon Ball Z and Super, and my kids like it, so I've been watching Super with them, and they've been enjoying that. It's a good family time for us to kind of get together and actually enjoy something. It's pretty rare that when you have kids, especially at a younger age, that they enjoy something that you also enjoy. Typically, they enjoy stuff and you suffer through it because you love your children. And this, that they just need to ask to watch it. And I'm like, yeah, let's go watch Super. That sounds great. So a miniatures game sounds awesome. Now, Angry Joe and Jasko are going to be doing the kind of the fighting style one with their pre-painted big style miniatures, and that's going to be great. And you better believe I'm going to be all over that, just like their Street Fighter one and their Mortal Kombat. Love all that, so that's cool. But with Command, that means I actually get to paint them too. And that's actually really exciting. It sounds like there'd be a lot of OSL effects I could do. Just the idea of painting Dragon Ball Z to me seems very cool. A lot of bright colors, a lot of aliens, a lot of different textures, a lot of like battle damage, and so you can do the blood effects and stuff like that. It just sounds really, really cool. I can't wait to see what these look like. Again, don't know anything about the game, but just miniature and that kind of hobby part of it has me really excited for that. And of course, I love the IP. So super stoked for that one as well. The reason it's not higher on my list is just because I don't know about the game. If I knew about the game and it seemed at all passable, I'm sure it'd be higher than number 9. But we gotta move on to number 8. Ankh, Gods of Egypt by Conan. Well, what can I say? I've already talked about this in a few of my videos. If you're new to the channel, then be sure to kind of check out my previous videos. I've been doing these top 10s and talking about 2020 Kickstarters, and Ankh has been part of that in pretty much every aspect because it looks very well produced. It looks like it has some interesting mechanics. The gameplay thing that they showed at Spiel, with like so it's like an area control game, right? And you have these areas, but you can like have these trade routes through camels that separate the areas, and you can do that to sever off a buff that somebody would have because they would own this part, but now they don't because they don't own that part, or just splitting it up for different purposes like that. Just that concept alone, I think, is really cool. It's got the monster hiring thing that has been part of Blood Rage and been part of Rising Sun, and will now be part of Ankh. It's the third in like Eric Lang's mythological trilogy of board games where they have kind of similarities when it comes to, dudes on a map, area control, plus, monster hiring, and it looks really good gameplay wise from what I've seen. And again, the ancient Egypt theme is something I really enjoy, but more importantly, it's something my wife really, really likes, and so she's interested in it, which means as long as we're both interested in it and the game's pretty good, it's going to get a lot of playtime. That's an obvious back for me. Anything that I know I'm actually going to back and get on the table, how many times can we say that? Half the time we buy these games, they end up on our shelves, we play it once or twice, and then it just gets passed on to the next one or whatever. This one I have a feeling is going to be on the table quite often. Unless it's bad, I'll let you know in the inevitable review. Next up is number 7, Conan, Beyond the Monolith by Monolith. This is going to be here on January 6th, so expect a day 1 video really soon here on January 6th where I talk to you about kind of the Kickstarter, so both game details and Kickstarter or campaign specifics, and then of course my King's Decree where I talk about the opinion on it all. But obviously at number 7 on my top 10 of all of 2020, this is pretty high on my list. The reason is because, first of all, I like what they're doing with the Beyond the Monolith. Anything that allows me to use my game components more and just make my purchases more reasonable because I can actually use them in other systems is cool. I can't wait to see if other people support this or if this explodes into something where, I could play a Zombicide game with my Conan minis. Could I do that? Is that a future? I mean, there are so many possibilities with the Universe box and then the Second Life kits and how those interact with each other. I mean, just buying a new Zombicide that has those new rules, but using my old minis, that sounds awesome too. Hey, it'd be a lot cheaper. I might actually pick up a lot more of the Zombicides if that was the case. There was an early thing where I could just get the Horde mechanic from Green Horde, or if I could get, just the outside-inside thing from Invader, or if I could get, it just sounds really cool. I like that. If I could get the Ramiro mode, with, from the new one that they just had, the Night of the Living Dead version. There's a lot of different possibilities, and so I think the future is crazy open there with that, so I like that. Conan, I have played every single scenario of Retail Conan because I own all of Retail Conan. I can't wait to get on the Kickstarter. I can't wait to get the Kickstarter stuff. I'm really excited about that. It's my wife's favorite game, so again, it's on the table a ton. I love it. I love the river system. It's a really great system, and their PvP is still scenario-based, so I like that. It's not just straight-up skirmish. It's got a little bit of spice to it, but it's more open in who you can pick, and you're both using the river system. It's a good system, a good game, a good idea. Obviously, it has to meet my top 10, and that's why it lands on number 7. Next up is number 6. Kingdoms of Forlorn. Now, this should be impressive, and it should be noted that this made it to number 6, because we know nothing about this game. All this game is just what... Okay, so Into the Unknown made Aeon Trespass Odyssey, and it is a great game. I loved playing Aeon Trespass Odyssey, at least a prelude to it. It was very well done. A lot of gameplay, some fantastic game mechanics like the hard co-op system fundamentally changes how you play the game, how you look at other people's turns. It's a great system, wonderful miniatures, a good setting, all of that. Exciting. Kingdoms of Forlorn, probably completely unrelated, but that was such a good experience on my part especially from a prototype standpoint, and just how early it was and how well done it was, that whatever their next game is, which all this was an announcement on my 2020 KS video. They wanted to just kind of do an exclusive there and say, hey, Kingdoms Forlorn, it's coming. So it's just like the logo with like a face in the background. I'm excited. I can't wait to talk more to them about this. I'm going to be pestering them. You better believe it. And I'm sure I'll be covering more details as it becomes available. So keep on the lookout for that. Again, if you're interested in stuff like that, be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be covering that throughout 2020 as I get more info. I was the first one showing you like the Triskelion and all the different deep dives into the gameplay of Aeon Trespass Odyssey. I'll be doing the same for here. Really excited about it. Kingdoms Forlorn. Next up at number 5 is Mythic Battles Ragnarok. Now, this was actually, it was a toss-up because I love Conan and Beyond the Monolith, but it's going to be a smaller set campaign, right? Whereas the Ragnarok's going to be this big, full-blown, typical Mythic Battles, Kickstarter, and that's just kind of what makes it a little bit more exciting. The Mythic Battles system, I know I haven't reviewed it. I apologize. I'll try and get a review before Ragnarok comes out on Kickstarter, so be on the lookout for that for Mythic Battles Pantheon. But Ragnarok's just kind of the Norse version. I love Norse stuff, so that's exciting. The miniatures look super stylized and cool and interesting, and I can't wait to see their take on all of that, both on the mythos and just on the individual characters and our artistic expression therein. The system is really good, though. I really like the game. Each character acts differently, and the skirmish maps are really fun. The different battle modes are very fun, and the scenarios, as long as they're balanced, are really fun. So super excited about that. I can't wait to expand my already crazy big Mythic Battles Pantheon with Ragnarok and use them, like I already did Titans versus Gods. Well, let's do like Gods versus, like the Pantheon versus Ragnarok stuff. That's going to be really cool. So super stoked for that. So that's why it's my number 5. Number 4, Limbo Eternal War. Now, the reason this is number 4 is just because I had such a great experience with the Kickstarter of the first one. I enjoyed seeing the unlocks. I thought they did the teasing well. I loved seeing all the fantastic miniatures. If you are a miniature lover, if you appreciate not just miniature detail, but sculpt design and composition and all that kind of stuff, then Limbo Eternal War is for you, as long as you're into kind of the fantasy setting of it all, I suppose. And in fact, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Darksiders kind of thing, just because it has the angels and demons as well as humans kind of all coexisting and dealing with things all on their own like that. But this one's going to introduce some crazy dragons. It's going to introduce, again, some more Norse stuff. You're going to have a lot of that kind of, leather armor and big buckle shield and all that kind of stuff that looks really cool. I'm just really excited about that. And again, I'm still looking forward to the game. I think the gameplay seems interesting, where to do a special attack, you have to spend a resource, but to spend it, you're actually giving it to your opponent. So you're saying, I want to do this, knowing fully well that I'm going to enable you to do stuff back to me. And that kind of toss up on, do I do it or do I not? Do I give them that op, or do I, bleed them dry from it and have them pay me and I get it? I mean, it seems like a cool thing. And so I'm really interested in the game and obviously the miniatures, and that's why it's breaking my top 5 at number 4. Next up at number 3 is Sheol. What can I say about Sheol? It continues to surprise me. The gameplay is not anything similar to what I have on my game shelf, which excites me. The IP and the theme is nothing like what I have on my game shelves, and that excites me. It has one of the most impressive central game pieces I have ever seen. It's this huge, it starts out as a small city, and as you build it up, it becomes this like big giant city that just looks super impressive, and you can venture out into there and fight these bad, like weird shadow things, and they start small, but then they get really big and colossal, and so you're fighting those, and it just looks super interesting. Everything about it is interesting. When they talk about, like, I think it was the moon is bleeding or some junk like that, and just the design of the heroes looking like some kind of crazy version of Tron, It looks fascinating, it looks interesting, and I can't wait to see more. Number 2, Sankokushin 5 Sacrifices. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, I hope I am, but either way, this looks really exciting. I love kind of the anime clean look they have to it when it comes to the art. The miniatures, from what we've seen, which is very little, seem quite interesting. I'm definitely interested in finding out more, so I'm looking forward to seeing that in greater detail. The idea of the city building, but then also battling seems kind of interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily like a KDM genre kind of thing, kind of like Alien Trespass Odyssey or Oathsworn or Wild Ascent or Kingdom Death Monster or anything. I don't quite know if it's replace village with city or replace, city with city traveling, or I'm not sure yet, but it's enough to get me excited because I like the kind of Civ plus battle. I love Civ games, and that's fun and exciting in kind of like a puzzle way, but, and a progression. I like the progression of it. But at the end of the day, I want to have miniatures and roll dice and play cards and have a lot of fun and exciting moments doing battle too. So if I can get both in one game, I'm sold. And again, the style seems really cool, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about it. Number 1, Celestial by Dimension Games. Celestial has been on my list of anticipated games since I first learned about the world. Talking with Byron, especially early on, this is when we just kind of first, learned about each other, I guess I could say, just had me enthralled. He has such a cool world and IP built around this, that I think you guys are going to really appreciate. I'm going to be covering this pretty heavily as I can on my channel, so expect a lot of this. I don't expect the Kickstarter to be until the second half of 2020, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. It sounds like it's kind of an RTS style game, or a real-time strategy game. If you know that like a Warcraft or StarCraft or Command and Conquer or something like that on, old PC games or newer PC games, if it's StarCraft 2 and stuff. But anyway, that's the kind of thing that it sounds like. So you have these commander units and then kind of the minions as well, and you can use them kind of separately and send them out and do different things. So it's kind of like a skirmish game, but with these big commander units. It might be similar to kind of like Hate with the Prince. I'm not sure. Again, we're going to have to see. I don't quite know all about the gameplay details yet. When I do, I'll tell you about it. But the theme and the miniatures are fantastic. Nuwa from Celestial is my favorite miniature ever that I've seen so far. The expression on her face is fantastic. The kind of natural technological look to her is perfect. The DNA strand between your hands, awesome. And the fact that all of that's a DNA strand, the worried look, all of that fits into the story. And again, I've talked to Byron about the story. I'm sure I probably know more than most of you guys here, and I'd love to maybe even do a story video on that. Let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in learning more about the world of Celestial. And I can talk to Byron about maybe doing a video in conjunction with him, in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I'll have to discuss it with him. Anyway, just let me know if that'd be interesting to you, because this world is essentially like Game of Thrones with these weird, semi-human alien technological beings, and then different gods and people leaving, and people being the speaker or a prophet of them, and saying politically stuff that's politically problematic and then being cast out, and all this crazy kind of houses and protectors and different groups of political people, and it sounds fascinating. The world and art and miniatures and gameplay all sound interesting. By far, number 1, really looking forward to it, Celestial. Alright guys, that's my top 10. I don't know if you could tell or not, but I am excited about 2020. There's some amazing games coming out that I'm super looking forward to learning more about and really seeing firsthand. I can't wait to get my hands on some of these coming 2021, 2022. That's going to be fantastic. It's weird to think that I'll be talking to you guys in 2022, but I am looking forward to it and looking forward to sharing these games with you there. As always, thanks so much for watching. What I would love to hear is, what are your top 10? This would really help me judge both how in parallel we are. Are we on the same wavelength? Are we on the same page? Or are we even in the same book? Additionally, it might just help me know, what you guys are interested in. What if you're all interested in something and I haven't even heard about it, I might need to be looking into that. Maybe it's something we need to talk about. Maybe it's something I need to have on this channel. I don't know until you tell me. So I would love to read it and comment and just let's just kind of see what we're looking at in 2020. You can reference my big 2020 Kickstarter video. I'll be sure to link that down below. If you haven't seen that yet, be sure to do that. It'll give you a good list in chronological order of these Kickstarters and when they're coming out and kind of more about each and every single one of them, at least the information we know. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, I hope you had a wonderful year and I hope you are looking forward to 2020 as much as I am. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my patrons because without them, the quality and quantity of these videos would not be here. You would not be getting 3 videos this week like you just did, and they would not be the quality that they are. So thank you for that. I always appreciate your support of honest game coverage. If you can give, please feel free to look at the link again in the description below to the Patreon link. It does help and all the money goes straight back into the channel so that I can give you guys more great content just like this. Guys, thanks so much for watching. And again, even if you can't give, it's fine. I understand and I get it. And I love you for being here anyway. All right, that's it. I gotta go get ready for some January videos. So I will talk to you soon.